Okay, so you know how sometimes personal finance just feels huge, like this confusing mountain?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Budgets, investing, debt, it
yeah,
can feel overwhelming.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people feel that way. But today we're diving into a really clear path.
A roadmap, basically.
Right, a roadmap to financial freedom pulled from a fantastic guide. So, okay, let's unpack this. The source we're looking at today, it's a very practical step-by-step guide, really about taking control.
hmm
And it boils it all down to this core idea: awareness, discipline, and planning.
Simple words, but powerful concepts.
Totally. When you frame it like that, it starts to click.
Definitely. And our mission here today, for you listening, is to really extract the gold from this guide.
Yeah, the key takeaway.
Take it all digestible, actionable, doesn't matter if you're just starting out or already deep in.
We'll give it as a shortcut, maybe.
Exactly. A shortcut to being well-informed and feeling genuinely empowered to make some real changes,
Okay, so let's kick off with step one. The guide calls it the foundation.
where it all begins.
Assessing your current financial situation. I mean, you can't plan a trip without knowing where you are on the map, right?
Makes sense.
So this means, first, knowing your income. After taxes, crucial.
Your actual take-home pay.
Yes, then listing out expenses. And the guide makes a good point. Split them. Fixed costs, rent, utilities, that sort of thing.
The must-pays.
And variable spending. Groceries, maybe entertainment, coffee.
The things that change month to month.
Right. And finally, calculating your net worth.
Assets minus liabilities.
Everything you own minus everything you owe. Debts, loans. Getting that clear picture, that awareness, the guide says, is the real starting point.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because so many people want to jump straight to budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to do that without this awareness, it's like, well, flying blind almost.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is that this isn't just crunching numbers, it's a mental shift.
Oh, so.
Gives you this sense of control. Suddenly you're not just reacting to money, you're understanding it. It empowers everything else.
Right. It answers that question. If you don't know where you are, how can you figure out where you're going?
Precisely.
Okay, so you've got that snapshot. The guide then logically moves to step two, setting clear financial goals.
Knowing where you want to go.
Exactly. And it breaks them down by time. Short-term goals first, 0 to 1 year.
Like an emergency fund.
Yeah, or paying off a small debt, getting a budget working. Quick wins, then medium term, 1 to 5 years out. Saving for a car, maybe a down payment, a vacation.
Bigger ticket items, but still visible on the horizon.
Right. And then the long-term goals, 5 years plus, retirement obviously, maybe buying a home, reaching financial independence.
The big picture stuff.
And crucially, the guide introduces the SMART framework here. Your goals need to be specific,
Measurable.
achievable,
Relevant.
and time-bound.
Smart.
It's such a powerful tool
Yeah.
because what SMART goals do is transform these vague wishes, like I want to save more, into actual concrete plans.
Right, it makes it real. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how it tackles procrastination. A SMART goal tells you exactly what to do next.
Removes the guesswork.
Totally. You're not stuck because the goal is fuzzy. You have a clear first step. It's the compass for your financial journey.
Okay, so goals are set. Step 3, creating a budget that works for you. This is key.
The works for you part is vital.
It is. The guide mentions the popular 50-30-20 rule as a starting point.
A really common framework.
Yeah, 50% of your after-tax income for needs, rent, bills, food, the essentials. 30% for wants, entertainment, dining out, hobbies, the fun stuff.
Discretionary spending.
And then a really important 20% for savings and debt repayment.
Paying yourself first, essentially, or paying down debt.
Right, hitting those goals we just talked about.
Yeah.
And it also mentions tools, apps like Mint, YNX,
You need a budget, great app.
EveryDollar, or even just a simple spreadsheet or a notebook.
Whatever clicks. And here's where it gets really interesting. Choosing that method that works for you.
Why is that so crucial?
Because it's all about sustainability, adherence. I mean, how do you stick to a budget without feeling totally restricted?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And the answer is finding a system that aligns with your personality, your habits, not fighting them.
So it becomes a tool, not a cage.
Exactly. Something you can actually stick with long term.
Okay, budget in place. Next, step 4. Building an emergency fund. This feels critical.
Non-negotiable, really.
The recommendation is aiming for, 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses?
That's the standard advice, yeah. Covers most major bumps in the road.
But the guide also says, look, even starting small helps, aiming for maybe $500 or $1,000 initially.
Absolutely. Don't let the big number paralyze you.
That first small buffer makes a difference. It gives you breathing room.
It totally does. And beyond the practical aspect, there's a huge psychological benefit. Peace of mind.
Knowing you can handle surprise car repair or something.
Right. It stops those small emergencies from derailing your whole plan or forcing you into new debt.
That's a great point.
What's fascinating here is how even that first $500 or $1,000 creates this surprisingly large mental buffer. It reduces financial panic.
Okay, so emergency funds started. Let's talk step 5. Tackling debt. Eliminating and managing it.
The big one for many people.
The guide lays out 2 main strategies. First, the snowball method.
Pay off the smallest debts first.
Right. Regardless of interest rate. The idea is you get these quick wins, you feel motivated, you build momentum.
Psychological boost. Very powerful for some.
Then there's the avalanche method.
This one's about math. Pay off the highest interest rate debts first.
Saves you the most money in the long run because you're tackling the most expensive debt first.
Purely financial efficiency.
And the guide really stresses, whichever one you pick, you have to stop accumulating new debt while you're paying off the old stuff.
Oh, absolutely critical. You can't bail water if you keep drilling holes in the boat.
Good analogy.
And deciding between snowball and avalanche, it depends on your personality. Do you need those quick wins, or are you driven by saving the most interest?
Knowing yourself is key.
It is. If we connect this to the bigger picture, managing debt aggressively is what frees up your future income to actually build wealth, not just service past spending.
Makes sense. All right, step 6 then. Once debt is under control, or while you're managing it, saving and investing regularly.
The wealth-building engine.
The guide emphasizes automation here. Set up automatic transfers, especially to a high-yield savings account for, say, medium-term goals.
Takes the decision-making out of it, makes consistency easier.
Exactly. Then for investing, it mentions employer plans, like a 401k, especially if there's a match.
Free money. Always take the match if you can.
Definitely. Then IRAs, Roth, or traditional. Different tax advantages there.
Worth understanding the difference.
And low-cost index funds are suggested as a good starting point for diversification.
It keeps costs down, spreads risk. Smart move for most people starting out.
And if it all feels like too much, the guide suggests maybe looking into a robo-advisor or talking to a human financial advisor.
Getting help is perfectly okay, sometimes essential. And what's really fascinating here, connecting back to consistency, it's the power of compounding.
Right. Time is your friend.
Absolutely. Those seemingly small, regular contributions, invested consistently over decades, they can grow exponentially. That's how you reach financial independence. Automation makes that consistency almost effortless.
Okay, moving on. Step 7.
Yeah.
Monitoring your credit.
Keeping tabs on your score and report.
The source mentions services like Credit Karma, Experian, ways to check in regularly.
Good idea to use the free resources available.
And the target score they mention is generally 700 or higher. That tends to unlock better interest rates on loans, credit cards.
Saves you money in the long run.
And the key habits. Pay bills on time, always. And keep credit utilization low.
Don't max out your cards. Try to keep balances low relative to your limits. And you know, a good credit score impacts more than just loans. That's important to grasp.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Insurance rates can be affected. Sometimes renting an apartment. Even some job background checks might look at it.
Wow, okay.
So this raises an important question. How does proactive credit monitoring protect your financial future? Well, it helps you spot errors or, worse, identity theft early.
The security aspect, too.
Exactly. And it ensures you're always positioned to get the best terms, saving you potentially thousands over your lifetime. It's a defensive and offensive financial tool.
Got it. Okay, step 8. Educating yourself continuously.
Lifelong learning for your finances.
The guide actually recommends specific books. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin.
Classic.
I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi.
Very practical, system-based.
And The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Focuses heavily on debt elimination.
And beyond books, it encourages following trusted financial blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels. Keep learning.
And what's fascinating here is the variety. Those authors have different philosophies, different approaches.
Right. Find what resonates.
Exactly. Financial education isn't a one-and-done thing. The landscape changes, your life changes. You need to keep learning to adapt and stay confident.
Yeah. That leads nicely into step 9. Reviewing regularly and adjusting.
The checkup for your financial plan.
The advice is pretty clear. Look at your budget and goals monthly, quick check-in,
Make sure you're on track.
and then do a deeper dive, reevaluate everything, maybe annually, or after big life changes.
Job change, marriage, kids, buying a house, anything major.
Because life happens, right? Your plan needs to flex.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, flexibility and adaptability are just as vital as the initial plan itself.
Things change.
Your finances are dynamic, not static. This review process keeps your plan relevant and working for you, not against you as your circumstances evolve. It's about iteration.
Okay, last step, step 10, and maybe the most important, staying consistent and patient.
The long game.
The guide uses that great analogy. Financial health is a marathon, not a sprint.
Perfect description.
It's not about some magic trick overnight. It's the small, steady actions, day after day, week after week, that add up.
Consistency compounds just like money does.
Like training for that marathon, you don't just show up and run 26 miles, you build up to it.
Exactly. And what's fascinating, again, is how this simple advice, be consistent, be patient, is often the hardest to follow.
It really is. We want results now.
We do. But sticking with it, building those habits, that discipline, that's what guarantees long-term success. It reinforces everything else.
So what does this all mean? We've walked through these 10 steps.
From assessment to consistency.
It really lays out that taking control, achieving financial freedom,
Yeah.
it's possible. It's within reach for you listening, especially with these insights.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway, this so what, is this. Don't feel like you have to tackle all 10 steps tomorrow.
Start somewhere.
Exactly. Pick one. Maybe it's just calculating your net worth this week. Maybe it's setting up that first automatic savings transfer. Maybe it's reading one chapter of one of those books.
It's a small step.
Action, however small, that's the key.
Right.
That first step unlocks the momentum for the next one.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Which one of these steps, if you really truly committed to it starting today, do you think would make the biggest difference to your financial future?
Powerful question.
Mull that over, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll be back with another deep dive soon.